Question 11. Calculate 847 divided by 7. So it's a divide. Now there are actually two ways of doing this. The first way we're going to look at, because we're dividing by a number less than 10, we're actually going to do a short division bus shelter method. So we've got 847 and we're seeing how many 7s go into that. So how many 7s go into 8? You can get 1 7 into 8 with 1 left over. So that 1 now makes 14. How many 7s go into 14? That's exactly 2. 2 7s are 14, so there's none left over. How many 7s go into 7? That's 1. 1 7 is 7. So we've actually finished. So the final answer is 121, and that can be done in under 30 seconds. There is another way you could have done it, and you could have used the chunking method. But the chunking method is normally better when you're dividing by numbers that are much bigger than 10. So if this was divided by 27, we would definitely have used the chunking method. Probably would have not even attempted the bus shelter method. So let's have a look at what the chunking method is. The chunking method is basically repeated subtraction of chunks of 7. So we need to understand what we mean by chunks of 7. Well, a chunk of 7s is an easy amount of 7s that you can do in your head. So already we know that 1 times 7 is 7. From this we can get that 10 times 7 is 70. We could get 100 times 7 is 700. We could even get 27s. Well, if 10 times 7 is 70, 20 times 7 would be double this 70, which would be 140. So these are all chunks of 7s that we can work out. So first thing we do is we set it up in the same way as before. So we need a bus shelter, put a 7 in front, and we put the 847 at the side. Now we need to subtract a chunk of 7s. We need to keep subtracting chunks until we've got nothing left. But if all we do is take off 1 7 each time, or even 10 7s, we're going to be there for a long time. So we need to take off the biggest chunk that we can, which at the moment is this 700. And this is 100 lots of 7. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off 100 lots of 7. And 100 lots of 7 is 700. So let's take that off. So let's see what we get when we take off 100 lots of 7. Well, 7 take away 0 is 7. 4 take away 0 is 4. 8 take away 7 is 1. So straight away we're down to 147. So what can we take off now? Well, we've already said that 10 7s are 70 and 27s are 140. Well, we could take off either of those two because both 70 and 140 are less than 147. So let's, for example, take off 10 7s. It doesn't matter which way you do it. We're going to take off 10 7s. 10 7s is 70. Okay, so now we need to subtract this. 7 take away 0 is 7. 4 take away 7 we can't do, so we borrow 1, and that becomes 14. 14 take away 7 is 7. And in the final column, we've got 0 take away nothing, is just going to be nothing. So we're down to 77. So now we need to think, well, how many 7s can we subtract here? Well, we already know from our 7 times table, at this point, you should be able to say, well, 11 7s are 77. And that's what we've got left here. So it's 11 7s are 77. So when you take 77 off 77, you're obviously going to get down to 0. Now this is the whole point of chunking. Once you've got down to 0, you then just add up your chunks. So we've got a chunk of 100, add a chunk of 10, add a chunk of 11. Well, 10 and 11 makes 21. Plus the 100 is going to be 121. So we've got 121 chunks of 7 that we've subtracted. And it is no coincidence that's the same answer that we've got up here. So that's two different methods of getting the same answer.